He wakes up in the morning, picks up the newspaper, and then he's got Meghan pretending to be his mother again. It's honestly psychotic, it's twisted, it's just not normal.
It's actually so freakish and disturbing now that we have to talk about it. Meghan Markle's cosplaying of the late Princess Diana in Harper's Bazaar has caused international derision, actually, because this is no longer deniable. As the controversial Milo put it, the creepiest, most sinister, most wretched person on the face of the earth. And our very own, according to Taz, oh lordy, how can people not see that she cosplays Diana? It's beyond creepy. But Tasha's with me, and this has divided attention actually. But Tasha's with me on the fact that actually Harper's Bazaar were not doing a good job for Ms. Markle. She said, yeah, they did her dirty. I can only presume she must have upset someone at that magazine. She doesn't look edgy. She looks awful. She can really look beautiful, but this ain't it. I'm not reading the article. I'd honestly rather have a root canal. And according to Taz, Tasha Canal joins me now. Tash, I mean, the Diana thing now is actually psychologically troubling. This is a very, very sick woman. I think Harper's Bazaar need to take a good hard look at themselves for agreeing to go along with this. And it's like the fact that Prince Harry can't see what she's doing because, of course, it's in the same week that she's cosplaying Diana over the fact that she now has a sidekick in her life. It's like, come
Mm.
on, Tash.
Yeah, you caught that as well, Dan. Yeah, the psychic. Of course, she's got a psychic because Diana, it was reported that she relied on psychics. It was the same as when Meghan put her hands to Diana's tombstone, didn't she? And she was channeling her and she asked Diana for guidance and all of that stuff. I mean, there's definitely psychological issues at this point. I think anybody looking at it, you cannot deny what she's doing. Now, I believe with the fashion shoot, I believe that Meghan likes to direct everything. If we remember with the Edward Enninful fallout, apparently her list of demands, everything she wanted was so big they wouldn't even have given that to Beyonce. I think Meghan directs herself. She tells them the looks she wants to do, the positions she wants to do, because she does a lot of the stuff that we've seen her do in previous years. And she copies. She has no original thoughts. So I don't know if they would have recognized something as similar with Diana with that, or whether they went along with it because obviously it gets everybody talking about the article. And it is pathological at this point. It's so unsettling to see. Harry obviously seems to get a kick out of it. That's something that he needs to talk to his therapist about. But I can't imagine what it's like for Prince William seeing this woman that caused so much heartache and stress to his elderly and ailing grandparents, to his wife with her lies. And then she pops up all of the time. He wakes up in the morning, picks up the newspaper, and then he's got Meghan pretending to be his mother again. It's honestly psychotic. It's twisted. It's just not normal. And I can't see.
Totally right. And Tash, you and the Royal Grift have also picked up another lie in this interview. She's so shameless. This time in regards to her 1992 LA riot story. So the Royal Grift wrote, Harper's Bazaar pushing new lies for this grifter. What version rebrand are we on now? And you replied, Tash, saying Meghan never saw the LA riots. The dates of that TV advert don't add up to when the riots happened. Plus, Thomas Markle told everyone he took her out of town so she wouldn't see anything. Every time she tells the story, she adds more and more details. She's a pathological liar. But again, it was shocking, I think, Tash, that this wasn't fact-checked by Harper's Bazaar, who should know better.
Everybody that's run this story, it's everybody that's ever run Meghan embellishing this story to do with the LA riots. It was Tom Bower that said about Thomas Markle. We know Tom Bower does all of his research. Thomas Markle, I'm pretty certain, has backed that up, saying that he protected Meghan and he took her away from it so she wasn't affected by it and didn't see anything by it. But where I say the dates do not add up, the LA riots were at the end of April in 1992. That advert for Ivory Clear washing up liquid, Dan, didn't come out until October 1992. Meghan didn't appear on Nickelodeon News with the whole letter thing, pretending that she changed the world all by herself until 1993. The riots were in April, and that advert, as I said, didn't air until the October. And again, everything to do with that entire thing is a lie. And Meghan also, the reason why she got so upset about it, because she said, I remember watching the commercial myself, well, the Nickelodeon News. Meghan got upset because she said, mums are always painted that they do everything and it's not just mums. Well, why did an 11-year-old Meghan feel that passionate? Well, it's because her father was raising her as a single parent at the time, because Doria was, well, Lord knows where, really. And that's why Meghan was, defensive of it. And she seems to forget that everything from her childhood, all of the privileges that Thomas Markle gave her, she's just completely written him off. So it's just a reminder that she lies about absolutely everything. And each time she tells this LA riot story, it's becoming more and more theatrical.
Yeah, totally. We got a news story, Tash, though, over the TV show Studs. Now, I don't know if you remember this. It was very big in the early 90s, between like 91 to 93. And in the article, and Harper's Bazaar have loved this so much, they've actually done a breakaway online story about it where they say Duchess Meghan. God, they speak like Omen Scobie, don't they? It makes me sick. Duchess Meghan reveals she used to play a version of this 90s dating show as a kid. And they say it's a skill she's honed since childhood. I was such a little nerd, she says. My entire identity was wrapped up in being the smart one. She has said that numerous times before. This is new, though. There used to be this show. I'm dating myself, but do you remember Studs? This is where I am reminded that Meghan, like me, and this is the writer speaking, is an elder millennial, born in 1981. We are a maligned bunch, hated by our elders for our generational insistence on authenticity and social justice, derided by those younger for our earnest belief that the world is capable of change, what Gen Z has labelled cringe. Studs is an elder millennial touchpoint, a dating game show that aired on Fox in the early 90s. I distinctly remember my mom and her friends hating it because of how often the contestant used the words buns. After school, and this is Meghan now talking, kids would enact a little makeshift version of Studs to play. They were like, well, Meghan can be the host. I had the personality type of I can help coordinate, I can help organize, and I can facilitate. I think I'm probably the same now. This was weird, Tash.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you've only got to look at that footage that was released, wasn't it? It was another little girl's birthday party when Meghan was about, I don't know, about 8 years old, and she was marching around with the crown on her head, telling people what to do. She was a precocious, bossy child. She had a father that never told her no, much like, I guess, Harry. And this is, again, I think this is a great lesson for parents when they're doing that really super soft parenting and they don't teach their children the word no. And, if you make decisions, there are repercussions, and I think this is what it turns out psychologically when you become an adult. But yeah, Megan's really never gotten rid of that bossiness. I'm certain she probably did play those games, but I'm 99% certain Megan would have said, I'm the hostess, we're playing this, you're doing that, because we see this in her behavior even now. And all of the ex-employees, the revolving door, Lord knows how many of them there are now, Dan, they've said exactly the same. She just marches around and dictates and shouts at people. So it's nothing to do with being smart, it's just being a bully.
Totally, and there's nothing smart, Tash. I mean, the quotes that Harper's Bazaar like pulled out as like, these are the moments that we learn how Meghan is now making her mark. To me, they made no sense, but let me just run you through them. There's no such thing as perfect. I too get to make mistakes. There's also not a lot of fun in trying to be perfect. So why try to do that if you want to have fun? That was the first. The second, I think the moment that you start making all of your personal decisions based on eternal judgment, then you lose your authenticity. And then you find different ways to protect yourself, whether that's self-preservation or it's just growing up. I mean, were you on board with any of those moments, Tash?
I haven't read the entire article because, as I said, I refuse to just put myself through it anymore. I have seen a few of these excerpts though, and they're a bit long to go on your fridge magnets, aren't they? It's just whimsical nonsense. It's whimsical nonsense. It's absolute word salad. It doesn't really make sense. Megan she just talks and talks and talks. She likes the sound of her own voice. And then eventually she jumbles enough words together. And it's like that should be a game show, really. What do you think Megan is trying to say at the moment? She just pulls together all of these nonsense words, jumbles them together, and it's like, yes, yes, you can have that printed on a t-shirt. It's just doesn't she doesn't make sense.
Tash, I did very much enjoy the analysis by my friends Megan Kelly and Link
Oh,
Lauren of this
they're
interview.
brilliant, aren't they?
Yeah, I want to play you a little bit and I'll get your reaction off the back.
When she comes to New York, she can't just get a room at the
Right.
Plaza or the Ritz.
Like the Hyatt.
She's right. She's got to stay in a friend's brownstone because you see, Link, she's too famous. She's too
Right.
famous to walk through a lobby. Unlike every other actual celebrity in the world who stay in hotels just fine, including Taylor Swift, with no problem in very many cities, much less a place like New York, which is very used to A-listers, which she is not. Okay. The writer writes as follows, quote, "When I enter this brownstone, the house manager announces, 'Meghan, Duchess of Sussex,' even though we appear to be the only other two people in the house." And then and that harkens back to what we read on page 1, where she said they were outside the Natural History Museum in Los Angeles to receive a local group of girls. And as the golf cart pulled up, they yelled out, "The Duchess of Sussex." And she appears to have people yell this about her wherever she goes, even if there's no one else in the
my
home,
God.
Link.
It's like Colonel Sanders is here. Like, why does she need to be announced like that? Like, the Duchess of Sussex? Who is that? Who is she? We don't have titles here. Like, when she walks into Soho House, is she like the Duchess of Soho House? We don't do titles here in the United States. But I don't think she was alone in the brownstone. I think all of her other personalities were in the house with her. So maybe they have to announce Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, is here. But I've never seen someone dine out so hard on their title. I mean, she is dining out. And like, I have friends, they get divorced and they hang on to the last name because maybe the last name was better than the one they had, or they were married to a prominent guy. So they cling to that last name in society. And it's like, Meghan is clinging hard to this Duchess title. She was in the royal family for 18 months. I have stuff in my freezer that's been there 18 years. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, I was in the royal family 18 months and she's calling herself the Duchess of Sussex. She spent 5 hours in Sussex. Okay. That's
And
it.
they hate the royal family. They hate everything it stands for.
Tash, I thought that was great. Actually, I especially loved Lauren saying, "Oh, it must have been all of her personalities in the room."
Yeah.
But it was a truly astonishing revelation. There were a few that came from this article, but truly astonishing, Tash, that there she is at Misha Nunu's house, and the journalist enters, and the staff member who doesn't even work for Meghan announces her as the Duchess of Sussex. What did you make of it?
Unbelievable level of pretentiousness. I mean, it's honestly shocking, but at the same time, I'm quite surprised that this Caitlin, the writer, was allowed to put that in, because this has now opened up Meghan to, again, global well, what do we call it? It's not really humiliation, but everybody's talking about that, because it's just, you've got to laugh at her. This is a woman that went on Oprah and said she wanted her privacy, and everything that the royal family did to her, and she's been announced. But I think that she told that member of staff to do it. I think she gave her orders, and I think there was some confusion. I think that she turned around and said, when this person arrives, I want you to say, that my name, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, meaning when Meghan is walking into the room. Or maybe, he just got confused and she was meant to announce, Caitlyn's name. Either way, it's pretentious nonsense. Like Link said, they don't have titles in America. But she is doing this to elevate herself. She's doing this for the prestige. She is using those titles in ways I couldn't imagine. Catherine, William, even Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, there's no way that they would go and meet people in, I'd imagine even a lot of formal instances, and they would have announcements like that. It's completely bizarre. It's comical.
It is. There was another big moment in the interview, though, as well. This is how it was headlined. Meghan Markle drops rare confession about marriage to Prince Harry. He loves me so boldly, so fully. I'm just going to read you the little extract from the article. And then, Tash, we both noticed the same thing here. See if you also notice it. Her circle of trust is tight. She puts her hand on her heart when she talks about her husband. He loves me so boldly. And he also has a different perspective because he sees media that I wouldn't, she says. No one in the world loves me more than him, so I know he's always going to make sure that he has my back. With Harry, Meghan explains, you have someone who just has this childlike wonder and playfulness. I was so drawn to that, and he brought that out in me. That's translated into every part of our life, even in business. I want us to play and have fun and explore and be creative. So, Tash, we both noticed the fact that in yet another public pronouncement of their relationship, Meghan isn't saying one thing about how much she loves Harry, because I don't think she does love him. It's all about his love of her and
Yeah.
what the relationship means for her business enterprise.
Her narcissism shines through every so often, and this is one of those moments. And she's really, there is a major mask slip in what she's saying here. But for most of us that have watched this completely unravel, she said the exact same Kern Lima podcast. I think she even put her hand over her heart from memory as well to really emphasize that man loves me so much. And, there's never a moment where she says how much Harry means to her, where she shows any appreciation for anything that he's done for her, what he's given up for her. It's always about her elevating herself. And let's be real, Dan, no one in this entire universe is ever going to love Meghan as much as Meghan Markle loves herself. If she was chocolate, she'd eat herself.
Yes, absolutely true. I did just think, though, Tash, and by the way, this video is very, very funny, put together by the Royal Grift, because it's sort of like how Meghan sees herself is the behind the scenes video in Harper's Bazaar. How we really see Meghan is the second part of the video. So I thought this was fun to share. I think for me, Tash, something that I really picked up on, though, was the fact that really her life is not dominated by love. It's not dominated by family. It's certainly not dominated by her children. It is dominated by work, which obviously makes the fact that her work has been not successful even more mortifying. Do you know what I mean? She talks about her office being right by the kitchen, and that's great because Lily can sit on her lap when she's in the middle of the meeting about whether it's about P&L for my brand or it's about something creative. And when asked what she hopes her kids see when they see her working, she replied, I hope they see the value of being brave. They saw it when the jam was just a pot on the stove when you're young. I think you are a little bit more fearless as we get older. We lose some of that. I mean, Tash, seriously, this is not a good mother. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. This is not a good mother.
She's just using the children in that instance to make a point about her bravery. Everything is all about what Meghan went through, what Meghan endured. And she comes up with these little anecdotes as a way to slip it in, just to remind the reader, just to remind the writer, that Meghan's been brave, Meghan has suffered, Meghan has endured so much, everything that she's been through. And she uses silly little stories. But yes, I mean, with her, again, the way she talks about her relationship with Harry, the things that she talks about with the children, this is why Meghan quotes films all of the time, anything from The Little Mermaid, or, it could be Love Actually, or she's just a continuous stream of film and TV show quotes, because I think in her brain, I really am of the feeling, it's my personal opinion, that she doesn't know how to love. And I think that she picks up things from films and TV shows. This is why she also copies and things, because she thinks this is how it's meant to be, how it's meant to sound. This is what people want. Because I think in there, I don't think there's a lot in there, if I'm honest. And I think that that is something that is definitely going to hand Harry's bottom to him in a few years' time when she gets rid of him. I saw recently that in the apparent polls that Harry is in the decline in America amongst the American audience, but Meghan has gone up a few points. She will be noting that. She will be noting that at the moment that she thinks that she can get away with it, she will ditch him.
And Tash, it's quite a contrast to what we're seeing with the Prince and Princess of Wales, specifically Prince William, who I think is really, how do I put this, being more prepared to show his emotion in public in lots of different ways after the difficult couple of years that he's had with Catherine. And that was the moment just there where Prince William embraced Rob Burrows' widow during this lovely public appearance where the couple opened the William opened the Rob Burrows Centre for Motor Neuron Disease in Leeds. It is of course named after the late Rob Burrows CEE, and it is the first purpose-built facility dedicated entirely to mind care research, education, and holistic support in the UK. And William said it was a pleasure to meet professionals as well as Rob's family, highlighting the incredible dedication and generosity that brought this vision to life. But of course, Tash, that hug comes quite recently after William broke down in public when he was very much, well, not in public really, it was in private, but then put it out in public in this video. Watch.
If you could say something or wanted to say something to Paul, what would you have said?
I would just like to sit him down like this and just say, why didn't you come to me? Because he's missed out on just so much joy, and we would have been okay. And I think that's what the hardest thing is. We would have been okay. You okay?
I'm sorry, it's hard to ask you questions that I know.
Hard, and you've experienced loss yourself.
It's okay.
And Tash, even this beautiful little moment captured on the cameras as William and Catherine arrived at the Royal Albert Hall for the Royal Variety performance. Did you see that? It was a little sweet little air kiss on her hand. And it just feels like something's changed, with both of them really, which isn't a surprise, is it, after what they went through?
He does seem a lot more open, but everything that they went through with Catherine's cancer battle, and then obviously with the king going through the realization at one point that the children might have to grow up like he did without their mum. I can't imagine the pressures it put on that couple. And then at the same time, with them going through one of the most awful things that I think anybody can ever go through, the fear of losing the partner and the mother of your children, they had a war put on them by the media, by awful people on social media. Where's Kate? And it was a really horrific couple of years. So I think he appreciates everything and everyone that stood by them, and I think change your perception to come so close to losing everything, it makes you really revalue what is truly important in life. And I think he's lost a layer. I remember in Shrek about the layers in onions, and I think he's lost a layer and he's less afraid. He can see that he can be affectionate in public without it being something that I think that the media can get at him. It's not a weakness, it's a strength. And I think we've started seeing a really wonderful side of Prince William that's always been there. And, I think it definitely helps with the popularity of the couple, because you can just see that they are not fake. Everything is real. They're bearing, wearing your heart on your sleeve, as it were, a bit more. And I think that has I think that's changed the public's perception of William, where some people thought he was a bit stuffy and a bit too stoic and a bit too boring. And he's actually showing now that he really is a lovely, lovely man.
And Tash, I mean, look at the reception for both William and Catherine from inside the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah. It was.
Happy Christmas and good night.
Just lovely, Tash.
It is lovely. It's lovely. As I said, I mean, I'm obviously naturally biased. I love Catherine and William, but to see so many people applauding them, cheering them, it was quite a big moment. Catherine last year, obviously, she was still recovering from cancer, and we didn't see her at a lot of events. And now we're starting to see her, and it's wonderful to see her looking so well. I tell you what, when she got out of that car, my jaw hit the floor. She looks like a green festive goddess. And obviously, William is rocking his suits. They make a very, very handsome couple, and they definitely deserve that
There,
wonderful round of applause.
there was also this nice moment where Jessie J opened up to Prince William about her own breast cancer battle. Watch.
I've just recovered breast cancer, so I'm just taking a second and putting that album as you do. No, I know. And music's the way for me that thank you, really appreciate it. Thank you. I'm going on tour in January. Yeah, so I've just recovered breast cancer, so I'm just taking a second and putting that album as you do. Raising kids, you know how it goes. Yeah.
A very sweet moment, Tash.
Yeah, Jessie J's lovely, actually. I really like her. It's quite a shock to see her, someone so young, go through something like that. It's kind of one of those moments when you start seeing people that you like and you follow and you know that you're the same age, and then they go through something like that. It can make you really think, wow. But yeah, she gave Catherine a really beautiful hug as well. And I think William and Catherine's understanding of going through that journey together, I think as well, makes them obviously a lot more, not everybody always means well, I think, when you go through an illness like that, but I think it puts you on a different level once you've experienced it. And you can really see that with other people that they meet that have also gone through those journeys. I think people find comfort in each other when they know that someone has the same story or a similar story to you.
Very well put, Tash. Very well put. Now, look, the news has got a lot worse for Harry and Meghan overnight. New reports about it finally being the full act scene from Netflix.
Click to share on Twitter. Opens in new window. Click to share on Facebook. Opens in new window. Sarah Ferguson is considering offers for a tell-all TV interview in the wake of her public downfall. US channels are said to be willing to pay six-figure sums to secure what would be her first chat since losing her Duchess of York title. Palace aides are worried at what Fergie may say if she gives a tell-all interview, sources said. They fear the former Duchess of York, 66, could go rogue now that she is out of the royal family. Fergie, who we revealed called Jeffrey Epstein a supreme friend, despite his conviction for sex offences, may sit down again with Oprah Winfrey, who has interviewed her before. Our source said the royals are bound to worry at the prospect, but there's not much they can do to stop her. They added, there's a danger of her going rogue and saying things that could cause embarrassment for King Charles and Queen Camilla or other members of the family. Her team has received significant bids from US channels. There are also said to be talks with networks in the Gulf states and the UK. Fergie's reps are said to be desperate to avoid a mateless scenario after Andrew's car crash interview with journalist Emily on Newsnight in 2019. But a source said, Andrew has had his chances to tell his story. Now it's Fergie's time. The mother of Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie is said to be taking stock. One insider said, Sarah and her team have had offers from all over the world for a sit-down. So she's thinking things over very carefully. She and her team know a televised interview would be make or break for her in terms of salvaging her reputation. It would also give her the chance to spell out the fact she knew nothing about what Epstein and his associates were doing in terms of abusing girls. Harshly treated. Sarah is actually quite keen to answer questions, as she strongly believes she's done nothing wrong and been harshly treated.